Okay, hello, welcome, welcome. All right, before we get started, I just want to give you a disclaimer. I need everybody to bear with me today. My voice is not good because of allergies. I've been drinking tea all day, trying to get it better. But, just bear with me. My voice isn't going to be its normal self. All right, so what we're looking at today is actually carrying out a lesson. And the resource I'm going to be using is Pear Deck. So we're going to look at how to carry out an entire lesson from the do now. I'm not going to do the exit ticket, but starting with the do now and working up to the point of the exit ticket and how to use Pear Deck as a resource for that lesson. And within there, I'll differentiate and I'll do all the other things that would go into a lesson. So let's share the screen so that we can get started and we can hopefully all walk away with a learned experience from this. So we want to start off with a comprehensive do now that is differentiated for all the different learning levels that are in the classroom. So when you look at this do now, what we have here is a lot of things to unpack. So the highlighted words in purple, those are for the students who are struggling with the material. Those are for the ELD, the English language development students. Some of you all refer to them as ELL or ESL. And those are for the IEP students. So they already know from prior conversations, they're just looking for the highlighted words. And all they're doing is adding those words to a reference sheet that they already have. If those words are already on their reference sheet, then what they are doing is looking at their reference sheet and getting the definition. So their only focus is building vocabulary. Now, in the blue, that's for the students who are at a little bit of a higher level. So they have a sentence stem, and all they're doing is responding to that. Then in red, that's for the students at the higher level. So this do now is split up, is differentiated for all the different types of learners. And I know my voice sounds crazy right now, and just hopefully you can bear with me. I'm going to be considerate of everybody's time. So hopefully this will be finished within 10 minutes. So you want to start every lesson off with an objective. The objective is as much for the students as it is for the teacher. It allows you to stay on track. It allows you to stay focused and teach with intention. Teaching with intention means you know exactly what you're trying to do, you know exactly where you're trying to go. So that's what the objective is there for. So once again, for our ELD and certain IEP students, they're given highlighted words. So as soon as they see these words, they're putting them on their reference sheet. Now, as the class goes on, they're going to be finding the definitions out of the lesson. So now I'm going to introduce a strategy. So let's say I want to question the students. So I'm going to add on a new slide. And I'm going to ask them a question. And the question is, in your opinion, what is chemical energy? Or let's say, what is an example of chemical energy? So that's going to be the question. And I'm actually going to use Pear Deck as a strategy here. So this is a brainstorming strategy, and this is an opportunity to get the kids thinking and to prepare them for what we're about to dive into. Now with Pear Deck, if you look at your toolbar and you go to add-ons, you'll see Pear Deck. So Pear Deck should be a normal add-on for Google Slides. If not, you can always download it and put it in there. Once I open up the Pear Deck add-on, it's going to allow me to frame my questions in a certain way. So if you look down here, I can have the students answer like a short answer, or I can give them multiple choice. So I'm going to give them multiple choice. And the first choice, I'll say that chemical energy is sunlight. Second choice, chemicals such as compounds, molecules, and elements. And the last choice, I'll just say plants. And I'm making this very easy just for the sake of the example. And so now the slide is updated. So here's how this will look for the students. If I go to start lesson, and so you'll have two options. You can use student paced activity, where the students move at their own pace. They go from screen to screen, moving at their own pace, and you can just stay on the outside checking them, or instructor paced, where you control everything. So they can't even go to another slide unless you do it. So let's look at instructor paced. And what will happen is the students will be given a code to get in. They can either get in through a link, you can copy the link and throw it in the chat for them, or they can just go to joinpd.com and put the code that's on the screen. So they'll see this screen. Now, once you're in, you'll be able to see the questions as the students are answering them. So when we go to our original question is right here, in your opinion, what is an example of chemical energy? If you go to show responses, you'll be able to see the responses as the students are giving them. And you can even give the students feedback. So this is great because it makes the students be active learners. They cannot just sit back and let the lesson unfold. They have to participate, and it allows you as the teacher to check for their understanding and to make sure they're engaged. So that's Pear Deck. All right, going back to the actual lesson, you have these Pear Deck slides that you can use. And as you're going through the lesson, keep in mind those students who are on the low end, whether it's because of language or because of learning, you want to keep giving them these words that they're adding to their reference sheets. But now here, they are being given definitions so they can add them into their reference sheets. So always keep those students in mind as you're going through everything and take your time. Always point out the visuals because the visuals give them clues and give them keys towards the meanings of the words that they see. So those visuals play a role. Always put visuals into the lesson that play a role. They're not just there for decoration, they're actually playing a part in the lesson. And you also want to add in videos because the students will get tired of hearing your voice. You know, even as adults, if somebody comes in and they're talking to us 20 minutes straight, we're going to be on our phone. We're going to start thinking about what we're cooking that night. We're going to start thinking about March Madness or whatever it is. Same thing with the students. So you want to break things up. You don't want it to be monotonous for them. Break it up. Give them videos, give them activities. Don't get so caught up into one groove that you don't get out of it, because that's when you lose them. So here we have a video. I wouldn't go to it right now for time purposes. And then once again, there's a lot to unpack with this. We see a highlighted word for our ELD and IEP students. We have a visual to help. And then we have another chance for the students to show their understanding. And this is broken up. Let me go back to it. This is broken up into pieces for the different skill levels in the room. So purple, that would be for those students who are not at the highest level, maybe our basic, below basic students. Blue would be for those intermediate level students, the students just around proficient. And then the advanced students would be red. In actuality, those advanced students will be answering all the questions. And then we continue with the notes. Then here's where you have that activity. And this is for you teachers who are teaching in a block schedule. You have to fill all that time. This is the point where you want to give those students that activity to do. So you may want them to make a video and explain it. You may want them to get outside and find a way to model it. You may want to put them in breakout rooms. It's up to you how you do it, but you want to give them that activity, especially when you have the longer classes, so that they're moving, they're active, and they're engaged. And then we come to a model. So modeling is great in any subject. Here in biology, the modeling is of the equation showing photosynthesis. So you always want to use modeling. And I'm going to finish off here. Once again, it's another checking for understanding, and it's differentiated for the different skill levels. If you notice, there's nothing here for the students in purple. Well, at this point, those students who were just focused on vocab, I want them to try this question here. So use what they got and try it out and see what they could get from it. So I'm going to end here just to respect everyone's time, and I don't want this to be too long. And also, I don't want you to keep listening to my voice sounding like this. I just wanted to get this out here real quick. And the main takeaway from this is the use of Pear Deck as a resource and as a strategy when you're checking for understanding. So that's it for today with the ancient writer. And everybody, be great. And we're out here on a mission to make sure these kids walk away with learning.